Rightio, g'day folks. We have a stonking 10 drill comparison. 4 nights in a row we've been smacking this thing out. What are we doing?
10 brushless drills.
Yep.
Premium hammer drills from all of the big brands in Australia.
Yep.
All of the premium trade brands.
100%.
We're really excited. We've got some brand spanking new drills here.
Only one in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, literally not in production.
Stonker brand new here.
Oh, bunch of them.
Makita, yeah, absolutely. Now, we'll be talking, as we normally do, we've got run times, we've got power tests, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is just back off the roids ever so slightly.
We are.
And we're going to do a user experience. We're talking about anti-rotations, comforts, some of those things that really come into it when you guys are using these 2, 4, 8, 10 hours a day.
Yeah. When you get to the point where nearly every one of these can break your wrist,
it
becomes a little bit less about raw power and a bit about how usable is the drill.
Yep.
Does it get hot in my hand?
Correct.
Does it sound awful?
Yep.
We're going to look into all those things.
All of these will tear your face off. We're going to go a bit further than that. Okay, so really the ultimate torture test, I would have thought. Coach screws, 150mm. We did do a small 5mm pre-drill. All these drills are in the low settings, so your slow speed. You sort of want to know if they can do this. All of them can. The Festool did leave them almost 40mm proud, and the Metabo 3-speed, a few mil proud each of them. But that's a pretty good test. So this one here is what we call our runtime test. We would consider it bog standard, but not many people do this. It's a 32mm self-feeding auger through triple 45mm fine studs. The reason why we triple it up is because we don't want to do 500 holes because that stinks.
Agreed, it does. We actually, Bosch provided all of our bits for this comparison. So big thank you to Bosch.
Yep.
Really high quality bits, but they're so long. It's hard to fit it in the shot.
It is a bit hard.
We asked them for shorter ones and they couldn't get it to us.
Nah.
So we ended up with these, are they 450mm or something, I think?
Yeah, reach into the sky.
Now, we're doing these on 5 amp hour batteries. Why did we choose that, Mike?
Because I'm a sook. No, look, that is the standard battery. We've spoken about it before, that most kits are sold in. But also, we don't want to put a stinking 8, 10, 12 amp hour battery on and do 500 or 800 holes.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. Now, interesting to note on that, when we talk about 5 amp, the European brands have 5.2s.
Yeah, that's Metabo and Festool and Hilti.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but 3 of them do.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. Just interesting to note.
You do wonder what's going on there, right? I wonder if they're getting different cells from someone else.
Oh, they're doing something different.
They are. Now, I do want to note, this is a reasonably difficult runtime test, 32mm holes.
Yep.
You could do this test with 10mm drill bits or something, and of course you get a lot more holes done, but you might also get different results and different winners.
For sure.
Because these tools will kind of be optimized for different sizes a little bit. So what I'm saying is this is not the be-all and end-all of runtime.
No.
This is scored out of 5. And this runtime test, and they'll be compared against each other.
Yep.
Likewise, the high torque category on your low speed is also scored out of 5. And what we've done is we've actually also timed these 32mm augers at the beginning when they're running at their fastest, and combine that with the coach screw scores to give us our high torque total performance score.
Yeah, and I think that's a fairly balanced way of doing it. No one's going to think it's perfect, but that's as balanced as we can get it.
Agreed. Now, there's actually some pretty big differences in runtime here. You can see that AEG only just got to 30, the Festool only 36.
Yeah, which is a bit disappointing on those two.
Yep. We've got others cracking well into the 40s. And then, what have we got left? Got the Hilti, the Bosch, and the Metabo up around the 50 mark. Very impressive.
This is a cool bit of kit. We've got a thermal imaging camera. First time I've ever had it now. Interesting to remember, this is external temperatures only. It's not an internal reader. So Duano's giving you straight after the runtime a 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute and 20 minute intervals of what your tool is doing.
Yeah, and we think that maybe tells the story a bit more about what's going on inside because you see the timeline. You'll see that the Milwaukee, at the beginning, it was 77 degrees outside the motor, really quite hot. The Hilti gearbox was also very warm. as you get toward the end here, the batteries were the warmest parts after 20 minutes. This is the hottest that each battery got to in the whole time, and it's worth noting that most of these batteries kept warming up for 10 or 12 minutes after the test had finished.
Yep.
Except the Bosch.
Yep.
It was hottest at the beginning and
then it
immediately came down.
Cooled straight down really fast. That was really, really good to see.
Rightio. So bugles, every Joe Blow uses bugles most days these days, and landscapers for sure. Intertreated pine all day, every day for landscapers.
Absolutely. These are 150mm or 6-inch, and we think these are a good test for the high speed, generally second speed for most of these drills, to see how fast they can punch them in. The times that we get here, combined with the times that we get in the next test of 22mm augers, are going to add up to give us the overall high speed score in this test.
Yep, and this test was actually really fun. You can see it now just chowing through. So 22mm auger, I would have thought most days for a Sparky, if you're running a single cable through, often they'll go to a 25mm Spady, but a 22mm auger is magic, and this was fun.
Yeah, that Metabo 3-speed, the one that finished there, that goes so fast because it could actually do it in its third speed of 3,800 RPM. Festool couldn't complete this task in its fourth gear, so we had to drop it down back to 2,000 RPM.
At Total Tools, we're the experts in tools for tradies. If you've got the job, we've got the tool. We won't be beaten on low prices. Total Tools, low prices on every tool, for every trade, guaranteed.
Here are all the specifications for all 9 drills. Please pause if you want to have a look. We're going to keep moving.
Right, we're going to talk about steel drilling, which is, to be honest, quite hard to be objective about because you've got to push on it.
Yep.
Unlike a self-feeding bit or something. We've only ranked it out of 5 because, for that reason, and because we don't think that they're going to separate that much. It's not going to tell you that much about the drills.
No, but we'd be remiss if we didn't do it.
Especially because of these 2 drills.
Yep.
The 3-speed Metabo and the 4-speed Festool.
Yep.
Which have 36 and 3,800 RPM.
Versus, I think, about 2,000
About
for
2,000.
the top speed of all the rest.
Correct. That makes them absolutely premium for small holes up to, say, 4 or 5 millimeters.
Yeah, your 3s, mint.
Absolutely. And we saw that in the results.
Yep.
And they really creamed the pack for our 3mm. At 5mm, we took it down to 2,000 RPM.
Yep.
Because that's actually a bit too high for a 5mm bit.
You should shuffle your speeds according to the size drill bit that you have.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Now, you'll see the 3-speed Metabo has a wonderful score, but the Festool doesn't. It actually has the worst score in the pack.
Yeah, which for a 1/8 bit or around the 3mm and 5mm, super impressive and just beautiful to use. But the minute we went into the step drills, which we thought would introduce that torque as well, which it did, and unfortunately this doesn't do it past about 12mm.
No.
Kept electronically kicking out.
Yeah, really surprising. And that was in first speed. They were all in lowest gear for the step drills, but it just can't do it, and so its score suffered.
Yep.
The rest of the other 8 drills are all in a pretty tight pack. There's not that much to learn.
No.
About those, and you can see the scores on the screen.
You'd be happy day to day with them.
Alright, so with the masonry testing, we're going to see how long the 5 holes take, but we also wanted to incorporate the comfort of masonry performance in the scores. So I'm going to put those up on the screen now. That's my ranking out of 10 for how comfortable and how much this tool vibrates. You can see the Festool's actually terrible for this task, whereas like the Hikoki's really, really nice. When you take those scores and you average them with the times, that's going to give us our overall performance score that you'll see in the scorecard at the end.
Yeah, and it's got to be said, these drills, they're not super comfortable for this job. 6mm, 8mm, maybe a 10mm. If you're going to do it semi-regularly, you really need yourself a rotary hammer. This is not comfortable, but they're all capable.
Could be worse. We could be doing clay-fired bricks. Thankfully, these are just concrete stumps.
True.
I want to note that the 3-speed Metabo here and the Festool have a higher speed, which goes even faster again. Those two would demolish this pack, I think, in their high speed, but it's too much heat for the drill bit, and it'll absolutely smash it.
Now, just quickly, we try really hard to do an apples for apples comparison.
It's impossible.
Really hard. But it's not quite possible. There's a few differences through here.
Yep.
Firstly, the Hilti's 21.6 volt.
Yes.
So it's got an extra cell in the battery. Maybe a slight advantage there, maybe? I don't know.
Possibly.
The Hikoki unit we've got in is the 18 volt version.
Yep.
Which dates back to 2015.
Yeah.
They have a newer multi-volt, like a 36 volt one, which is actually the one that you get in all their kits and everything.
Yep.
But it's really no different. It's a couple of Newton meters more.
Yep.
So we opted to go with the 18 so that it goes with this pack.
Pretty much.
It really stands for both, though.
Yes. Yeah, fair call. We've done the 18 volt in the Makita, almost for a similar reason. There's the 40 volt max out, but there's not much difference at all on paper.
No.
And where do you stop, honestly? So for the 40 volt max lovers, the drill isn't up here compared to the 18 volt. So we just had to go with that.
Very similar drills.
Yep.
Another thing to note is that the 3-speed Metabo here has been out for several years.
Yep.
That's not a new tool by any means. There is a new one coming out next year.
Yep.
Which is going to receive some updates, including anti-rotation control, which this one doesn't have.
Yep.
So that's going to be a good update, I think.
100%. Now, this Bosch we've got here is brand spanking new. This is the only one currently in Australia.
Yes.
That is a brand new powerhouse and has got a few tricky things on it.
That actually just got brought over to Germany for us direct.
From Germany, yeah.
The people in Bosch haven't got to play with it yet.
Nah, which is pretty cool that we got it here.
Pretty lucky. Yep. Right, now, in terms of batteries, this is getting really hard when we compare things because they all have different batteries. Some are running 5.5 or 6 amp hour.
Yep.
Some are running an 8. What we've got is the highest output battery within reason. We're not sticking a 12 on a drill.
Yep.
Or a 9, something with 3 stacks of battery.
Yep.
The Dewalt 6 amp hour is a little bit different.
Yes.
But we've got the most reasonable high output kind of battery on each one.
Yep.
We've used that for all the tests, except for the runtime, where we used a 5 amp hour so that it gives us a more reasonable outcome.
Yep, and to be fair, that's probably what most kits are sold with-ish.
Correct.
It is so hard. He does all the nuts and bolts on it to try and get us a level playing field.
Yeah.
We will never get a 100% level playing field because all of these suckers love to change things.
They do. But what we've done is we've tried to give every battery its best chance.
Yep. Righty, so this one here, something a little bit different to what we've done in the past with comparisons. We're talking about user experience. And that comes down to heat maps, which you would have just seen, a bit of sound, how it feels, the size of it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because we use these 2, 4, 6, 8 hours a day. They're a high use tool. These things are important.
They are really important. We're scoring this out of 8 to reflect that importance.
Yeah.
And with full top marks, we've got the 2 Metabo drills and the Festool.
Yep.
And they get those full marks because they are a pleasure to use, especially on the ears.
Yes.
They have dramatically more pleasant and quieter sounds than other drills. And if you're working inside, big difference.
For sure. Yeah. We're not worried about the pretty parts of it, but what you say is true. Just think, you got impact driver here in your ear hole all day.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for the power of a couple of these, driving bugles and the likes in. It's sublime to use it, and that's got to count for something.
It does. They also have beautiful variable speed dials at the bottom, rather than the old
Turbo's quite nice
clutch
on that.
rings that. Yeah, and then the Festool, they both are.
Yep.
So
That's at the back, yeah.
Yeah, really nice tools. With a 7, we've got Makita.
Yep.
It sounds pretty good too.
Well, yeah.
It's really short.
Yep.
As well.
Yeah, it doesn't have a ton of bells and whistles on it. It hasn't got the extra bits and pieces, but that is a compact, tidy little unit for sure.
Absolutely. Coming in with a 6, you've got the Hilti and the Bosch.
Yep.
Now, the Hilti is a wonderful tool to use, but it is the heaviest of the group.
Yes.
At about 2.6 kilos.
Yep.
So that sort of weighed it down a bit, and you could feel that difference.
Yeah. They also, it was quite warm in the gearbox.
It was quite warm in the gearbox.
Yep.
Yep. The Bosch is not quite as lovely to use as those drills.
Yep.
But boy, did it stay cool. 33 degrees after draining a 5 amp hour battery as fast as we could.
Yep, absolutely. Cooler than the human body after doing that.
Incredible.
It's actually outrageous. You want to talk about longevity of tools? That, again, has to count for something. I think that's mega impressive.
Lovely handle too. Just beautiful to hold.
Yep, it was very nice.
Just behind them, is the Dewalt.
Yep.
Which sounds and feels good.
And it's tough.
The only reason it's dropped a half a point is because it's quite tall on its 6 amp hour battery.
Yeah.
The reason that it's got the 6, I mean, they've all got their bigger batteries on them.
Yep.
But you really can't put the 5 on that and get the same power out of it.
No, we've spoken a little bit about batteries and bits and pieces, but this is, of all, they all get a little bit extra boot from the bigger, slightly higher capacity batteries.
Yeah.
This one really needs the 6 to win, doesn't it?
To keep up, that's right.
Sorry, to keep up.
It's got great power scores that we've already noted.
Yep.
But that comes at a cost with the battery.
Sure, yep. So it is a bit big and chunky.
With a 5, we've got AEG and Hikoki.
Yep.
Because they're fine tools. They don't sound as good as others.
No.
They're not particularly small. There's no bells and whistles.
That's true.
They're a standard average drill.
Yep.
Also a 5 is the Milwaukee.
Yep.
And why is that? Because that is so tiny and small and light.
Yep.
Why is it still a 5?
It's good to use. It gets job done fast and all the rest of it. It is powerful, but it's a whiny little thing.
It is
As
whiny.
in, when you're cranking through, there's a high pitch.
Got the worst noise.
Yep, and it's not the only one because I've got it over there on my bench.
Yep.
That's just the Milwaukee drill. Now the other thing is that the heat map, as you would have just seen, 77 degrees. That's insane. Now, it didn't burn my hand and hurt me or anything like that. But you want to talk about user experience, I got to let that sucker cool down so you're not drilling, you're not making money. Or you're choosing to cook the tool and roll on it. You're going to do yourself in for $350. 77 degrees is nuts, the amount of heat that's doing.
There's got to be a cost. You've got a high power motor.
Yep.
And a tiny case.
Yep.
Where's the airflow?
Everything's getting sucked in and holding. Here you've got big airflow, we can tell. And we've never done this sort of heat mapping before.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anyone do it across 10 drills like this.
No.
That counts for something, which unfortunately means they get counted downwards.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to chat a little bit about anti-rotation safety. This is quite important. Dwayne and I had a bit of a difference of opinion on this one.
Yeah.
Now, I see the value of it. I just struggled with how we scored it and how much.
That's right.
We come from different areas of it.
Yeah, so we reached a compromise on 3,
Yep.
which to Mike sounds like too much, and to me sounds like too little.
Yep.
And so we settled there, and we need to note that 3 points is going to make a significant difference in the final scores.
Yep.
Now, the reason that I think it's important is that we are getting to the stage now where nearly every one of these drills can break your wrist.
Yes.
Easily.
Yep.
And you only need one instance of not being careful. All of a sudden, you have just hampered your ability to invoice work for the rest of the week.
Yep, that is true.
And that's really important. And also the safety of your employees and your apprentices. I really think it's really important. And I think it's almost getting to the point of irresponsibility soon with the power of these not to put in a safety feature that is now well known and well flushed out in the market.
Sure. Now, the 4 that we've got here do it very, very well.
They do, so
It's got to be said.
They all got the full 3 points that they could have got because we were very happy with them.
Easy to kick in, and it must be quickly said that the Bosch, we were using the 32mm augers, and it was starting to come in because we were having to wrestle with it.
Yep.
You can turn it off. The other 3, you can't turn it off.
Well, because we had the side
That's
handle.
very cool.
Yeah, we had the side handle on, so there was no real risk for us in that.
No.
But it was a bit sensitive.
Yep.
So we just turned it off for that test.
Turn it off. So, from my point, I 100% see where you're going.
Yep.
I don't believe it's going to change someone. If someone's set on, that kit's the right price, it's got the right tools, I'm going for it. I don't think they're going to go, oh, hang on, no, I sort of probably need to be safe. I'm going to head here and go across to where we've got it. Maybe we should be going that way. It concerns me that we have scored it the way we have potentially because I don't think it's going to make a lot of change to somebody's mind.
Sure.
But I'm also a bit of a dinosaur.
Fair enough. And I think we've given you both sides of the argument there,
Yep.
so we'll just move on.
Yep.
All right, that gets us to our final scores. We're here, finally.
Yeah, you ready to punch us in the face?
The winner is the 2-speed Metabo, the
Yep.
brand new one that's only just hitting shelves now.
Yeah.
These are actually lined up.
Yep.
First to last.
Yep.
You can read the scores on the screen now. I won't read them all out to you.
No. What was the top score, though?
Top score was 30.9.
Yep. And
Only just ahead of the Hilti at 30.8.
okay, cool.
Ranging all the way down to 23.4.
Beautiful. So you can see we've got a fair spread.
Yeah.
Now, I can't remember if we've touched on it already, but what I'll say is that we've got a fair bit of a change from what we would have ordinarily had come through.
Yes.
We've tried to play with it a little differently, but you can change things dramatically.
Correct.
If you want to talk about masonries, because who was the best on masonry?
Well, Hikoki is definitely the best masonry performer in our testing.
Yep.
If masonry is really important to you,
Yep.
triple that score.
And it'll
come way up this pack.
Yep.
If you, like me, think that it's a waste of time having it on the drill because I own a rotary hammer.
Yep.
And I will never use it.
Yep.
Drop it completely out of
100%.
Out of the weightings.
Duono gives you the data. Use that how you want. What we do want to say is the Makita in amongst our scores, which you'll see the number.
Yes.
It's very good across the board.
It is very good.
If you do not care for anti-rotation control,
Yeah.
I'll tell you now, you take the points out for that, this bad boy comes up, and I think it ends up...
Right at the top.
Ta-da!
And the Dewalt's going to end up somewhere in here too.
Yep.
So we've given you the scores so you can make your own decision. You can change the weightings really easily.
Yep.
You can knock things out and you'll be able to see what they come to.
Yep.
We tried to do something that represents not only what we feel,
Yes.
but also what we think is a nice average across the industry.
Correct. We're not talking just a chippy who wants to chow through studs all day, every day,
Which would be awesome in the Dewalt.
which would probably be there, possibly be here.
Yep.
We're trying to take in a bit more of the breadth, like you say, across the industry.
Correct.
Yeah.
Certainly if you want a high speed drill where you're doing those really, you're doing small steel drilling,
Yep.
you really can't go past the 3-speed Metabo.
Yep.
It is a wonderful drill, and also even chowing through like 22mm augers was phenomenally fast.
Yeah, very much a dream.
Incredibly fast. So really rate that. Really love the variable speed dials that you've got on the Metabos and the
including
Festool.
pulse mode.
Pulse mode on the Metabos.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used it, but I understand where it comes into its benefit
Yeah.
for starting your drill, so you're not actually running away on itself.
You can pay a bit more for the detachable chuck on
Yeah.
either of these Metabos.
Yep.
Because the cost of that is about $370
Yep.
with a regular chuck, but with a detachable up to $450.
Yes.
So it adds some cost. But you can then put the little quick change adapter on here, and you combine that with pulse mode. You're halfway to an impact driver at that point.
Because it's got some kahunas.
It does.
Yep.
So there's some really nice features there.
Yep.
The scores on these two are identical.
Yep.
You flip them anytime you want.
Yep.
Likewise, the scores on the Dewalt and the Festool are identical. So you can flip those anytime you want
That's
as well.
true. Yep.
Yeah, we understand that it's a very divisive scoring system.
Yep.
But we think we've given you what you need to make an informed decision.
Yep.
And that's our aim.
Absolutely. Now you start at the top there and we come down to the bottom here. I've got a mate who's a plumber and I've got a few people I know very well on the AEG. Don't look here and say, well, it's a bag of crap.
No.
Because those guys, one guy in particular, has gone from Milwaukee across to new AEG and says, hey, it does the job I want perfect all day, every day. So he's happy. It's what suits you. If you really want to wind Duano up, he's giving you all the data. Just right now, just type some dumb comment about, you guys are idiots. This is the best in the world and it should have won. Do that, because it's going to be fun.
It is worth noting that there's only like a 1.5 difference from all the way down here up to there.
Yep.
It's a really tight pack.
It is.
With a little bit of a drop
But
off.
you've got to stop somewhere.
You do.
We tussled and chewed around with the different gradings that we had. We have to stop somewhere.
Yeah.
And we have spent 4 days, nights now going through this testing. This is where we landed and we are very comfortable with it.
Yeah, we've also got price on the screen. I'm not going to read them all out for you, but there is some pricing differences here.
Yep.
Particularly with the high-speed Metabo and the Festool being quite expensive. Also, if you get the detachable chuck.
And the Festool comes with the little, what do you call it, bugle bit, 5mm adapter, so you pop the chuck off.
Right, now, we've covered a lot of information here, but if you want some more, I've actually got an article in the Australian Hardware Journal coming out.
Yep.
So highly encourage you to have a look at that article where we'll go through some extra ideas about the groupings of these and what they're best at. Is there anything else we need to say?
I don't think so. Look, we test and test and test. These don't just get a bullcrap unboxing and we give you an opinion.
Yeah.
It's based on data.
Yeah. We haven't scored warranties.
Nah,
But obviously, you've got to point out, Hilti's got a 20-year warranty.
you pay for it.
You pay more for their tools, but
Yep.
holy moly, what a warranty.
Yep.
Apart from that, I wanted to ask you what your favourite drill is. What's the one, or maybe two if you need to,
Yeah.
that you love the most?
I've probably changed a little bit because I've got the Milwaukee on my bench,
Yep.
and I've always loved it. Seeing the heat map of that and the noise of that compared to the brand new Makita,
Yep.
and I think that 2-speed Metabo, that is sweet to use. Now, funnily enough, I think I know where you're going to head.
Yeah.
You love the 3-speed.
I'm blown away by the sound and the performance of that tool.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep. Dead set. Spot on.
But it is quite long.
Yeah,
so
it is.
I must admit the Makita as an accompanying tool with its shortness and its overall, but neither of those have rotation control.
No, they don't. But
I'm going to eat my
we
words
know
because
that.
that's important to me.
Yeah, that's true. So if you're a cabinet maker or something like working in tight spaces, we know you're going to want to come back here or a bit here. For
Yeah.
me, it sits beautifully between those two.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for watching this far. We know
Yep.
it's been a long ride.
It has.
If you like what we do, please subscribe and share our content. Head down to the comments. Tell us maybe what your top 3 are.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it. Love to argue about it. That's what we do.
Yep.
We're tool reviewers. We love tools.
Chew the fat.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.